Krishna Swami is in India now. And he was a former GBC for Canada, so I had a lot of experience working with him for many years. In fact, he became a guru because we were having such trouble with Kirtanananda and his rascaldom that I thought it would be better if we had Gopal. He seemed to be more cooperative at the time.
Okay.
Because he wasn't a sannyasi, and he wasn't, a guru.
So what year you're talking about, Prabhu?
This was in about 1982.
Okay, 82. Gopal Krishna was not a guru. Okay.
No. And then I went ahead and I had Bhagavan come to Toronto.
Okay.
And I had Satsrup come to Toronto.
Okay.
And, I met with them and told them, listen, we've got a real trouble with Kirtananda. We got to get rid of him. We had all these issues. He stole the deity.
Right.
He called the building atrocious. Prabhupada called it a topmost triumph. Krishna, and he wrote a letter, said the building is atrocious. You should sell it. Absolutely absurd. And at the same time, he's a pedophile. So here we have this guru system running on the basis of a fraudulent group of so-called Uttama Adhikaris. Ridiculous. Actually, I have some very interesting letters I'll be able to share with other people where they were promoting him as the next Acharya of the mission. That's what people in New Vrindavan at the time that thought he was some kind of great demigod or whatever, avatar. Of course, later it came to light that he was part of a plot to murder Sulochan, and which they did.
That's a different story, though.
That's a whole different story. So here's the, history of what went on. So in terms of for life, Gopal Krishna, he's in India now as the chairman of the GBC there, chairman of the Iskcon GBC. He's been in the position of chairman, and head of India forever. He became a guru because we worked with the GBC that were running the system back then and told them, make him a guru. Because
so you guys appointed him to be a guru or elected him to be a guru?
Because we were in that trap of confusion. I was still in the movement at the time working with them. It was impossible. So one of the solutions, let's put Gopal in as a guru. So this is how Gopal became a guru. I have another story for you about him. Because we had a devotee, Gaudiya, who was from Toronto Temple, who was ripped off by Kirtananda. With Kirtananda, he would come and make disciples and then steal them from the temples and bring them to Vrindavan. So a lot of the temples were being depleted by him. Like Buffalo was depleted by him, even though it had been a successful temple. There was no reason that it shouldn't be operating today, but it's been closed because Kirtananda destroyed it. And he was doing the same thing in Toronto. So Gopal Krishna went and got sannyas in New Vrindavan. He went for sannyas.
From Kirtananda.
Kirtananda gave Gopal sannyas.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so Gopal still goes and worships Kirtananda at his Samadhi tomb. Same with Radhanath. There are pictures of that. This is absolutely ridiculous. And hypocritical. Extremely hypocritical. But it represents a confusion that is in the minds of some of our God brothers about what is what and what should be and what shouldn't be. So, so when he finished getting his sannyas, Gaudiya Prabhu, who has lived here in Toronto, and came and lived at the Hamilton ashram recently before his death,
Hmm.
told me this story. He was Kirtananda's servant,
Wow.
personal servant in Vrindavan when he moved there. He was a good devotee. He had lots of talents and abilities, and he was well appreciated in New Vrindavan. And we certainly lost his skills and his enthusiasm in Toronto, where he was originally from.
Acha.
But that was what was going on. So Gopal Krishna comes into the room, and this is a fact. If he was here, he'd tell the story himself, but I will repeat it. He comes into the room after getting the fire sacrifice and becoming a sannyasi. And the first thing he said to Kirtananda, okay, how do I become a guru now?
Gopal Krishna Swami said that, how do I become a guru now?
Yes. And Gaudiya was there as a witness. So this was the ambition of these people, to move forward and rise up and become the heads of Prabhupada's corporation, Iskcon. And this is the tragedy of our movement, that it's been absconded by these people who are interested in profit, adoration, and distinction. That's what you get when you become a guru. You get money, you get dakshin, you get.
So he became a guru in 1982, 1983. Do you remember?
Around that, you'll have to look at the appointments and go and see.
Okay. So about
it is around 82, 83, yeah.
Okay.
And then after that, pretty much he destroyed the whole yatra in Canada. Nandi Keshwar was the president of Montreal. Bahudak was the president in Vancouver. We were all longstanding presidents who had done all kinds of service. And Lakshmi Nath in Ottawa. And within a little short period of time, more or less, we became discouraged, depressed, and just banished because we have objected to the system of the GBC guru, zonal guru authority.
So one question. You guys put Gopal Krishna up front because Kirtanananda was a disaster, right? And then then Gopal Krishna, at that time he was not a Maharaj or Swami, he went to Kirtanananda's camp, got sannyas, and then asked Kirtanananda Swami that, hey, how do I become a guru? And then he came back to Toronto and Canada, and the whole thing became a disaster.
Yeah, well, it has become a disaster. Like now, the temples are empty.
Wow.
There are no temples with devotees. If you look at the old pictures of Iskcon Toronto, you'll see we had a large congregation of devotees. There were large groups of devotees in Montreal and Vancouver, very enthusiastic. And, basically, these gurus thought, well, we don't need our god brothers anymore because we've got our disciples. So like Bhavananda was guilty of that. He would say, we don't need you anymore to Pradyumna or to Yashodanandana. We don't need you because we've got our own disciples. So what's the value? Same with Harikesh in Europe, in Russia. He didn't care to have his god brothers with him because he was satisfied because he had all of his followers doing what he said. And they became what was called the zonal guru system, which became, eventually contaminated by this sectarianism that entered the society. And it's still carrying on to this day.